When Emma sat me down at the kitchen table that evening, her face was a mask of practiced seriousness. "I think I just need some space," she said softly, almost as if she was doing me a kindness. My heart sank, but I managed to keep my expression neutral. Space. The word sounded harmless enough, but I knew better. Couples don't ask for space when they're trying to work through things. They ask for it when they're halfway out the door. I asked her what she meant, and she gave vague answers. "I feel overwhelmed. I need to find myself again." "It's not about you." She even forced a little smile, the kind meant to reassure me, but it only sharpened the knife in my chest. For years I had supported her dreams, picked up the pieces when life got hard, and believed we were a team. And now, suddenly, she needed time apart, as if my presence was the thing suffocating her. I nodded slowly, pretending to understand, but inside my mind raced. I didn't fight, didn't beg. I agreed. "Take all the space you need," I said calmly. Her eyes flickered with something I couldn't place, surprise, maybe even unease. She had expected me to plead, to cling. But I didn't. That night, while she slept soundly beside me, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. I replayed every conversation, every odd detail from the past months. The late nights at work, the sudden secret of texts, the way her smile no longer reached her eyes when she looked at me. Space wasn't about healing. It was about planning. So I started paying attention. I didn't confront her directly, not yet. I simply observed. And within a week, I found the first crack in her story, an unfamiliar name flashing across her phone, quickly swiped away when she thought I wasn't looking. My chest burned. But my face remained still. She wanted space? Fine. I would give it to her. But I wasn't going to let her rewrite the truth while I stood by quietly. The more I watched, the clearer the pattern became. Emma wasn't just finding herself. She was building a bridge to someone else. She started working late more often, dressing sharper for meetings, and leaving her phone face down on the counter. She thought she was careful, but little things gave her away. A second glass of wine missing from the sink. The faint trace of cologne that wasn't mine clinging to her scarf. I didn't confront her, not yet. Instead, I played my part as the supportive husband giving her space. I listened when she claimed she needed weekends away to clear her head. I nodded when she promised it was temporary. She believed I was buying her story, and that was my advantage. One night, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A message preview lit up the screen. "Can't wait until you're mine completely." My stomach tightened, but my hand stayed steady. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. The words were confirmation enough. She wasn't lost. She wasn't overwhelmed. She was making a backup plan, and I was the placeholder she intended to discard. But what she didn't realize was that while she was building her escape route, I was quietly preparing mine. I gathered bank records, messages, and every breadcrumb of proof she left behind. I spoke to a lawyer discreetly, learning what steps to take to protect myself. And slowly, I began reclaiming my independence, financially, emotionally, even socially. When Emma finally looked me in the eye one evening and said, "I think I'm ready to take a break. Maybe stay with my sister for a while," I simply smiled. "Of course," I said. "Whatever you need." Her relief was obvious, almost smug. She thought her plan was working flawlessly, that her secret was still hers alone. What she didn't know was that the very space she demanded had given me the clarity to see the truth, and the strength to end the game on my terms. Emma moved out the following weekend, a suitcase in her hand and a smile she tried to disguise as nervousness. She hugged me briefly, murmured, "This is just temporary," and drove off. But I knew better. She wasn't going to her sister's. She was running straight into the arms of the man who had been waiting in the shadows. What she didn't count on was that I had already connected the dots. Through a mutual friend, I learned his name, David. Older, wealthier, the kind of man who thrived on swooping in to play savior. He had whispered promises of adventure and freedom. And Emma, blinded by the glitter, had believed him. At first, I stayed silent. I let her think she was in control, that her new life was unfolding exactly as planned. She would send me occasional texts. "Hope you're okay. I'll check in soon." Each one felt like a performance, as though she still wanted me tethered just in case things didn't work out. But my responses were brief, detached. The more I pulled away, the more unsettled she seemed. Then, one evening, the cracks in her fantasy appeared. She called me out of nowhere, her voice trembling beneath a forced cheerfulness. "Hey, I just wanted to see how you were doing." But behind the words, I heard it, the edge of doubt. Maybe David wasn't quite the dream she imagined. Maybe the life she'd envisioned wasn't matching reality. I didn't give her reassurance. Instead, I said simply, "I'm doing well. Really well." The silence that followed told me everything. She had expected a broken man, waiting patiently for her return. Instead, she was hearing confidence, freedom, a man no longer dependent on her presence. That was when I realized her backup plan was crumbling. She thought David was her escape, but now she was realizing he wasn't a safety net. He was a gamble. And she'd already let go of the one person who would have stood by her through anything.